Hello everyone, GDI here, and welcome back to another episode on the channel. Today I'm going to be talking about 5 to 10 things that I'd like to see Rocksteady keep from their past games in Suicide Squad 2022. Number 1, the Arkham Knight combat system. Now in the Arkham Knight combat system, there's a lot of sandbox aspects that really make the game feel more alive and makes you feel like you can interact with the environment more. Whether it be from ripping something out of the wall and throwing it at an enemy, or throwing a batarang at a lamp that's hanging from the ceiling and having it crash down onto one of the enemies. There were a lot of things in those games that really made it feel more alive, and I'd really like Rocksteady to keep that. And from the looks of things, it looked like they wanted to as well. Because in Arkham Knight, one of the biggest complaints was that Batman didn't feel like Batman. He didn't really have like that fighting style where he was slow but really strong in his punches, and he would kind of like glide from one side of the map to the other in not very much time. So I'm pretty sure Rocksteady's going to be keeping the sandboxy feel of those levels because of what they were trying to do in Arkham Knight and what the Suicide Squad represents. Especially with how big and compact Metropolis is, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of stuff that you can interact with in this next game. So no doubt that this isn't just a wish list. This is also something that I could probably see in Suicide Squad 2022. Really hoping that ends up actually being the case. For this first part, I wanted to have an expert come on. He is a big Halo player. And if you've played Halo before, then you may know that it's a very sandboxy game, and there's a lot of interactables in it, and a lot of things that you can do, and a lot of strategies that you can use to take out enemies, especially brutes in Halo Reach.
Well, the thing about sandbox games is that it makes every engagement different, every playthrough different, because it's not like I'm gonna call a couple games out like Call of Duty, where every enemy you just shoot them in the head until they die, and then it just kind of makes the gameplay repetitive and a little almost oversaturated. And see, the thing about Halo, and in this case Batman, is that, well, you can make every engagement different by instead, a brute is behind this door, so maybe you can yeet a lamppost at them instead of just walking in fists ablaze, per se. And that's what makes Batman special, is that every playthrough is different. Every little engagement, every little fist fight is so different from the last, and it feels very new and fresh every time you get into a fight.
And on that note, there's another aspect of this that I'm really excited for, which is the fact that we have new characters to work with. Harley Quinn has a bat, amongst many other weapons, many other famous weapons that she's used in the past. Captain Boomerang has been given, well, we originally thought he was a speedster, but then it was later confirmed that he's actually teleporting. So we get teleportation mechanics, we have a heavy character. It's literally like an 8-foot tall shark. It's King Shark, so that's going to be exciting. We have projectiles of a different kind now. With Deadshot, like, we have an entire new library of sandbox aspects of combat games. We're not just limited to electric charge, battering, our fists, amongst a few more other things. Our library of what is possible with these weapons is now much, much bigger. So Rocksteady's probably going to take advantage of this, and I would really like to see that happen, and it'd be really cool if they could find a way to add those realistic aspects in while making the game fun, while making it feel sandboxy and interactable. That's really what I'm hoping for Suicide Squad 2022. Now, the next thing on my list is a steady amount of graphics. There's been one part where Arkham has always been at fault, and it's that certain parts of the map are lower graphics than the other parts, i.e. the oceans, the water graphics, the ambient graphics. Those were always dropped kind of low to make the game run faster. And though I do appreciate that they prioritized that, I have to say I prefer the lag spikes. But with next-gen consoles, they wouldn't even have to worry about lag spikes in the first place. So it really comes down to what Rocksteady is going to prioritize in the Metropolis map. Metropolis is a huge compact city. There's a lot of action going on in it, and now it's apparently being invaded by Brainiac. It's being invaded by Brainiac. And so there's gonna be a lot of stuff happening in this map, and I'm not too sure if they're going to prioritize the engine running faster or the engine running on a better performance. In Arkham Knight and Arkham City, they prioritized the engine running faster. In Arkham Asylum, they didn't, and the consoles suffered because of it. So, with these new next-gen consoles, I would love to see Rocksteady create a steady amount of graphics for every single game. Not every single game, every single section of this game, so that it looks great through and through. There aren't random parts that you can go into, like alleyways, where you can just look at one wall and it has beautiful, like, 4,000-bit graphics. Turn on the other side, and it has 1,000-bit graphics. I don't want that happening anymore in Rocksteady games, and if they can pull that off correctly, then yes. And another thing that Rocksteady's done that I really appreciate is steady, like, keeping the difference between the cutscene graphics and the gameplay graphics the exact same. And strangely enough, the games have not suffered because of that. And that brings me on to my next point with Ilios here, which is number 3. I do not want that to change. I do not want cutscene graphics and gameplay graphics to be different in this game. They've tried to do it a little bit in Arkham Knight, which is why I'm a little bit fearful that Rocksteady is going to take a step in the wrong direction for this game as far as cutscenes go. And so I wanted to have someone on here, again, with Halo, talking about the benefits of having cutscene graphics be different than the gameplay, and then also what makes the game suffer on that. So, Ilios, take it away again.
All right. So, first of all, before I get into this, I am biased, all right? So, just keep that in mind. But I feel like something that is good about having better graphics and cutscenes in the game, not that it's an excuse, but just something to take note of, is that it makes it feel more like a movie, especially with, like, more scene changes and, you know, better graphics help with that. It helps engage the player in this story and this person's personality, you could say. And it also helps with just keeping audience retention up in a way, because it's like, whoa, this cutscene looks amazing, and you can, like, admire the cutscenes. And that's what game developers want, is they want to see people liking the game.
Most game developers.
I mean, you know, money is good. And see, that's all fine and dandy, but as a Halo player, I can admit that sometimes the change between gameplay and cutscene graphics can be a little much at times. It can kind of take you almost out of the experience and do the exact opposite it's supposed to. Like, take for example Halo 4. I love that game to death, but its cutscene graphics look like so much better than its actual gameplay graphics. And yeah, it looks good, but it also kind of takes me out of the experience, because every time it goes into a cutscene, it's like, wow, this looks great. Oh yeah, the game doesn't look like this though. And then it's almost like failing to do its one job, which is engage the player. So that's how it's good and bad at the same time.
So in the end...
Take it away, G.
Thank you. So in the end, it's really a trade-off. And this is one of the things that I'm going to want to hear what you guys think. What do you guys want to see from Rocksteady as far as cutscene graphics go, and just as far as all of my opinions in this video go? I love reading your guys' thoughts. But I'm personally not a fan of this. I am more immersed in an experience that has continuous graphics all the way through. And we've been blessed by Rocksteady that they have been able to make games with really quality graphics ever since Arkham Asylum, and so on and so forth. They have done a beautiful job at that. So we are blessed with having these games that don't need to improve their cutscene graphics. And I'm not saying Halo doesn't. Halo actually had great graphics. I'm pretty sure they just invested a lot of time into their cutscenes. That's a toughie. I don't know a
I
lot.
add a quick point to this.
Yeah.
See, something that a lot of people take for granted is that a game doesn't need good graphics. It's to be a good game. Like, take for example the first Arkham game. That game is so much fun, and it kind of looks like a potato. It looks good for its time, but nowadays it looks like, a
Could be better.
potato. And at the same time, it's so fun. You can play it for hours. So I think really like
It's really opinionated. It's a trade-off. There's a lot of
exactly.
trade-offs involved in this. Um, yeah. Personally, a good graphics game, especially in AAA development, is needed. Now, whether the graphics be completely invested in lighting, like a lot of our more simplistic games in recent comings, Among Us proved you don't need good graphics at all to make a good game. At least my most recent example of a bad graphics game that has great playability. But in the AAA industry, you need good graphics. It's just kind of a way things work now. Minecraft had pretty bad lighting, and it wasn't a AAA game. Once it entered the AAA industry, then they started investing in lighting, and they started working with RTX to create shaders. Um, so graphics really do matter, no matter how simplistic your game is. And especially with a game coming from Rocksteady, we expect good graphics from this game, and we know we're going to get said good graphics, but what I'm mostly worried about is the difference between cutscene graphics and gameplay graphics. I know Rocksteady won't change that. At least I'm pretty sure I know that Rocksteady won't change how they've been working in the past. However, we did notice that in Arkham Knight there were subtle, and I mean subtle, like probably just by times 0.5 better graphics. And it was almost all invested in lighting instead of the actual game. Because their graphics don't take place in separate levels. Their graphics take place in the level. All of the Arkham games are in one world. Everything that happens in that game is right there. So, they can't make custom levels. Well, they can, but they don't, which is what I appreciate about those games. But they do improve the lighting. And this is new. This did not happen very much before. So, what I'm worried about is Rocksteady taking a step in the wrong direction. We do not want, as an Arkham community, we don't want to see that difference. It's what made these games iconic. It's what it's what they've become. Rocksteady has been known for creating smooth games through and through. And though yes, as Elios said, there are good things about having that difference, that big difference between cutscene graphics and gameplay graphics, that's not what the Arkham series is. That's not what the Arkham series is. Now, with that being said, Arkham Origins obviously is not that. But also, Arkham Origins is WB Montreal. It's not Rocksteady. It's canon to the Arkham series, but it's a different developer. Which is also why everything that I'm saying right now is completely irrelevant to Gotham Knights. I do not want Gotham Knights to copy the Arkham series. Because Gotham Knights is not Arkham. It is a different developer. It is a different parent well, it's not a different parent company, but it's a different company. And it's the same publisher, different company. That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah, that. Um so Gotham Knights, I do not care how they do things. This video is about Suicide Squad, and I do not want Suicide Squad to have a difference between
Tangent alert.
yeah. All right. What are we on? Number 3? Alright, everyone, and here is a quick reminder from Elios Gaming to take it away, Elios.
Subscribe to Elios Gaming on YouTube. I post videos once in a blue moon. It's my birthday tomorrow, please.
And then just okay, I'm leaving that in the video then.
Shameless plug.
But yeah, I know that Rocksteady. Again, I'm not putting this in the video. You don't need to mute.
Okay, boomer.
All right,
I
so
want them to make video games.
all right, everyone. Next on the list, what I want to see Rocksteady as a company do for the gaming industry in 2022. So we know what Suicide Squad is capable of, and we know what it is going to bring, kind of. The real question is what Rocksteady is going to bring. I fully and well believe that Suicide Squad is going to be the best Arkham game to have come out. Now, that's obviously me being biased towards, well, the bad guys, and I've always loved the story development of their rogues gallery, and I'm really excited to see where Harley Quinn goes. All of you can shut up about Deadshot being black. Just shut up. Come on, guys.
Deadshot Black.
Like, okay, the first Deadshot was white. Okay. I don't know why you care. It's just a different character design. Shut up. Just
And one of them has rights. Don't put that in the video.
what I want Rocksteady.
That was not official from Elios Gaming. That was from Mason Barrett. Mason Barrett said that. Elios Gaming did not.
He is biggest brain. All right. What I want to see Rocksteady do as a company. First of all, I really want to see them bring out their marketing campaign like they did with Arkham Knight. It wasn't too harsh. It wasn't. They didn't go as far as Arkham Origins did, which Arkham Origins marketing campaign was fine as well. It worked. Arkham Origins is what got me to find the Arkham series. And that's why it's the second Arkham game I ever got. But Arkham Origins put on a TV spot, and it was amazing. It was honestly extraordinary and easily, in my personal opinion, the best video game spot ever to have been released. I do not want Rocksteady to do the same, and here's why. Rocksteady is building a game that could easily have a rating of mature or adult. If they get that game a TV spot, they will be effed. So, like, just ads on, like, social media, Twitter, Reddit, Instagram, whatever. I was about to say Flow Lab, but none of you know what that is. Hey, check out Hacker 2 coming out October 2022. So, obviously they can do whatever they want. It's Rocksteady.
I
But,
have a bit to say.
alright.
So, marketing is an interesting thing, and there's literally
Why you don't say?
there's literally a college major for it. You can't be too in the viewer's face, you could say. You need it.
You want to be
be able to
upfront,
plant
but you
the
don't want to be
seed
too
almost.
upfront.
Yeah, you want to plant the seed. So basically, it's not like the Stadia commercial where it's like it plays every 5 seconds. Let's see. There's some facts that go against that, like what I just did. I just told everybody about Stadia.
But
Because I've listened to it so much.
Exactly, but you also played
It is
a
bad way.
very bad tune of it, which means they're obviously getting it in your head. You're remembering the commercial,
Yeah,
which entices you to get the product more.
yeah.
Now, with Arkham
So-
Origins, that was something else. It was iconic for a different reason. It's because it wasn't annoying, and because it wasn't played every 5 seconds. It was relatively rare. And I remember it being played, and I was just like, whoa, this is cool. Like, I didn't know anything about it until I saw Batman in the trailer, and I was just like, oh, it's Batman. I have no idea what that other stuff is, because I'm a stupid 5-year-old. But,
Wait, when did Origins come out?
2013.
You were
6, whatever.
let's see. That's right. You're a boomer. That's right. You're a zoomer. I forgot.
Anyway, so I remember seeing that trailer, and it was iconic, and I still remember it, and I still remember seeing it too. And it was iconic for a different reason. But I don't want Rocksteady to do that. Reason being, if they pull out their subtle marketing campaign again, people will draw to it. More people will spread it because it's different. If they especially if they pull out an animated marketing campaign, that'll be great. And then once they release their early DLCs like they did in Arkham Knight, Season of Infamy, best DLC collection of all time. I mean, come on. Come on. Mad Hatter, Mr. Freeze, Killer Croc, Ra's al Ghul.
Okay,
Best collection of all
quick
time.
pause for a second.
Rocksteady, what I would like to see happen is a relatively small marketing campaign, and that way they can also profit more, because Rocksteady's already a huge name, and it's already apparent, like, a child company of WB Montreal. Not WB Montreal, just WB as a whole. So all they need to do is just say, hey, we have a game, and then boom, blow up, huge. They don't really need to put out very much marketing, but also it has a really nice feel to it. It's small, and it feels homely. Arkham Origins felt like a movie, and I loved that about Arkham Origins. It was the most cinematic out of all of the games. Arkham Knight, okay, also it's pretty cinematic, and I loved it. That's also why it's my favorite in the series right now. But yeah, I want this game to feel like a movie. Arkham Origins was the iconic one. Shut up. And finally, Suicide Squad. What do I want from you last? Well, that's simple. I want to drink soda. In Suicide Squad. In Suicide Squad, we have a sandbox combat system. But what would I like to see more? Well, a sandbox explorer system, of course. In Arkham Knight, you had the Batmobile, and you could knock stuff out and drive through cars and plow through walls, all kinds of that fun stuff. Now, what if you can do that on foot in Suicide Squad? In Suicide Squad, I want to be able to walk around the map, kill Brainiac robots, and then, once you're done, you know, feeling a little thirsty, a little lightheaded, so you can walk into an alleyway, put a quarter in, what are those things called? Vending machine. Put a quarter in a vending machine, pull out a soda, and drink it. Simple ambient features like that you can do even when you're outside of combat. Or you can just commit petty theft. Really depends on the kind of player you are. Alright, everyone. See you in the next episode.
Thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed,
make sure to subscribe to GDI. See ya.